Violent crime scene analysis, modus operandi, signature and staging. And I want to read this. The modus operandi, signature, and staging aspects of an offender are discussed in the analysis of crime scenes in terms of human behavior. Learning to recognize crime scene manifestations or behavioral patterns enables investigators to characterize the offender and to distinguish between different offenders committing the same types of offenses. The modus operandi is a learned behavior that evolves over time as offenders gain experience and confidence. The offenders continually reshape their MO to meet the demands of the crime, whereas the signature aspect remains a constant and enduring part of each offender. It may evolve in progression from crime to crime, or elements of the original ritual become more fully developed. The investigator may not always be able to identify the signature aspects as in cases of violent offenses involving high-risk victims or decomposition of the body, which complicates recognizing the signature aspects of an offender. Staging occurs when someone purposely alters the crime scene prior to the arrival of the police. It is done to direct the investigation away from the most logical suspect or to protect the victim or victims. Very interesting, because if indeed the bodies of Valerie Mack and Jessica Taylor come back by some type of evidence, and most likely DNA, to be connected to Rex Heuermann, then his modus operandi has changed quite a bit over the years, hasn't it? Let's not forget, this potentially occurred in the year 2000.
Right.
4 years ago. So was this the Rex Heuermann of 2000? A man who dismembered bodies? A man who tied them up as if it was an animal, as a hunter would do? And the staging part is also included. He dismembered these bodies. Why did he dump parts of their bodies near the Gilgo crime scenes? Again, was that done to throw off the police? There's right there. You have the three elements: modus operandi, signature, and staging. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Billy. Things evolve. People, if this is done by Heuermann back in 2000, when these girls went missing and the other girls disappeared later on, he may have thought in the beginning. And you're trying to think from a killer's perspective, from a criminal's perspective, rather than a law enforcement perspective. Dismembering the body, taking the hands helps thwart identification of the corpse. So, and maybe their feet also. So that's a sign that this person's very intelligent. They know what time it is in terms of law enforcement efforts. And so he may have, if this is Heuermann, may have put them in an area where maybe he had hunted before. He tied them up. Maybe that's instinctive. If he's a deer hunter, or I guess you tie an animal up a certain way or that sort of thing. And so he did that. And perhaps over the course of a number of years, he decided, I can't go back there. I don't want to go back there. There's too many hunters there in the location. Maybe I got to find someplace else. And he evolved. And rather than tie them up, they would be duct taped. They'd be wrapped in burlap, and then they'd be put in a sand dune under a lot of vegetation along the Sunrise Highway. I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with Long Island, that highway nearby. So therefore, as he's maturing in his processes and as he's trying to figure out the best way to get away with this, maybe figuring that, being in an area where there's a lot of hunting, although he's familiar with it, may not be a good thing. So he then evolves and tries to thwart law enforcement by doing other things, which sometimes, that could go to his credit, because people may think, oh, you have two killers, not just one, because there's maybe there's a lot of differences. However, due to the decomposition, it really makes it very difficult, because you don't know that, there's homicidal violence, but you don't know how the homicidal violence took place. If you don't find a bullet somewhere in the vegetation underneath the body, you don't know if this person was strangled, perhaps, or if they were their throat was slit. You don't know, so it makes it really difficult. So in these kind of cases, when you don't have a body that's intact, that long time outdoors, nature just takes over and actually destroys a lot of evidence.
Like one of the things I also find very interesting about this, of course, is that if this is connected to Rex Human, this puts him killing in 2000, in the year 2000, or
Right.
the early 2000s.
Right.
It puts him murdering people. So my question is, and many of the people in our chat would probably agree, how many other people has he killed that they just have not found the bodies yet that could be connected to this man? Rex Schumann is, I believe, 60 years old, right?
That's right.
So, you do the math. He was 46 in, excuse me,
Like,
36. He'd be
yeah,
36 in the year 2000. That's still, he could have started way before that too.
right. You could start in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know.
So this sort of opens up a Pandora's box, not only of more questions, but what ifs. What if he started even many, many years before this? Very scary.